Good morning, everybody. It is 19 degrees here in the Adams County, Gettysburg region. It is a little cloudy, but not threateningly cloudy, at least not yet. And we had some snow this weekend, Saturday into Sunday. We got 4 inches up on the mountain, almost 4. I think it was 375, but who's counting? Actually, my neighbor was, and he put it on Facebook. And yeah, so we got some snow. I mean, certainly I see Jeff Pasnick in there. Certainly nothing like what he gets up there in Buffalo, New York. Poor Jeff. Hey, Dustin, how are you? Matt, good morning. Tom Canavan, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. We miss Tom. Tom goes away for a while, but then he comes back, and then he goes away for a while, and he comes back. And as long as he keeps coming back, that's all we care about, right? How you doing, Tom? Jeff says 24 and snowy in Buffalo. Wow, it's warmer up there. You guys going sunbathing? Let's see. I can't remember if I lose service if I go left here. But should I do? I don't feel like losing it and then having to start again. Sorry, folks. We're just going to go the normal way. We'll go through the battlefield. But as you can see, there's... I don't think they have 4 inches down here. I think it's maybe 2 or 3. But nonetheless, we got snow. I'd say it's winter, but technically it's still fall. If you could believe that. Early winter this year. I wonder what that means. Does that mean winter holds on? Or does it get out of here early? Does spring come early? Are all the seasons arriving early? Comment below. 1 degree when I got up in West Virginia. It's 9 now. Jeez. Jeff says, shoveling in my shorts, my friend. Wow. I mean, why wouldn't you be? It's so warm up there. Gaslight says, ever watched the Battle of Algiers? Time Ghost just covered the real story behind the movie. No, I have not. Who's in that? I don't think I've ever heard of that. Is that like Sir Alec Guinness vehicle? Back like a bad penny, says Tom. I think so, Tom. Just a regular penny. The roads are fine around here, though. Anybody who's wondering, maybe you're listening as you're getting ready in the morning and you're not looking. The roads are bone dry. Matt Gillespie, thank you very much. I do need a hot coffee, and I will be getting one at Bantown. Yeah, Edward, hello. Jeff says, I'm actively using every means necessary to bring on global warming. Yeah, I bought a case of old-fashioned Aquanet. I had to get it from Belarus. That's the only place they still have it. Bought a case of it, divvied it up between me and Cindy and her daughter, and I said, everybody to pick a side of the house, just start spraying in the air. By God, the ozone layer is going to have a hole in it over our house if it kills us. Theoretically, allegedly, it will kill us. But at least we'll be warm. And I don't have to shovel. Edward says, what state? We are in Pennsylvania. I always know those are bots, but I answer them anyway on the off chance that it might be a real person. I don't know why I do that. Because sometimes a real person might actually just come in and say, what state, right? And maybe Edward is a real person. But, bots usually do that. Plenty of snow. Okay, Edward's responding. So maybe, but bots are sophisticated. I don't know. We'll see. There are basically no big names in the movie. The biggest actor in that film was a French stage actor. Ugh. Most of the others were Algerians, with one leader of the Algerian insurgency. This was 1965. No, I have never heard of that. Is it an American film, British film, foreign, non-British or American film? Will Aquanet reveal the snake's location? Sorry, Matt, I don't get that reference. I am so sorry. Yeah, Jeff, Cindy told me that over the weekend. Steve Floyd passed away. Well, yeah, I had no idea he was sick. I like Steve. I didn't know him well, but I met him a few times. He was always cordial and friendly to me, and we had talked about him coming on the show, and we never did it. And now I regret it. I texted Jim Hessler yesterday, and I was like, what's this I hear about Steve passing? And he goes, yeah, he was sick for a while. I won't say what it was. I don't know if the family wants that out yet, but yeah, and Jim said, he goes, it's kind of been a rough couple years with everybody passing away. And I said, yeah, it's very depressing. And it's like, you can't assume people are going to stick around forever. So when you start talking with somebody about having them on the show, you got to get them on the show. I keep forgetting that the vast majority of the people I interact with are 10 to 20, 30 years older than I am. So the chances, and I'm about to get in there too. I might croak, who knows? Woke up the other morning, I thought I was having a heart attack, but I really slept awkwardly on my shoulder, and it had somehow affected my chest muscles, which I was totally surprised that I had any. Oh, you had a snake in your house. Okay, yeah, sorry. Oh, so many adventures since the snake. I forgot about him. Yeah, we never found him, by the way. None of the traps picked him up. So who knows? He's probably nice, big, and fat now. As long as he's been eating mice and stuff, I think we'll be all right. 4 inches is a lot. We've had more. But you don't want to wake up. Okay, so we live on a mountain. So Cindy was reading the forecast to me the night before, and she goes, but it only says, 0.15 inches. And I go, well, that's down on the valley floor. So we're on a mountain. So what is that, 2 inches for us or something like that? Well, it turned out it was 4. And they got more on the valley floor anyway. But as you can see, not a ton. You can still see grass and stuff like that. And it hasn't melted. It's been god-awful freezing. Although now here, as we get closer to town, it's 21 degrees. So there we go. It's warming up, guys. Jeff says you got to make every day count. That's right. Good morning, Matt, says SP. Here in Illinois, Banner's tender tootsies freeze about a minute after I let him out. Then he tries to lift all 4 at once. Yeah, Major loves it. She, because she's part pit, I think she has that high pain tolerance. And so, she frolics out in the snow. We're like, all right, enough. Come in. Because we haven't put up a fence in the property yet. And so we have to take her out still. So it's miserable. Last night, it was just, I felt like I was in some Western, I felt like I was in the Hateful Eight. Remember, when it's this miserable, snowy, windy blizzard outside. That's what I felt like. I'm in there. The wind is whipping. All you can hear is the sound of the crunchy snowflakes that have turned into like more like heavier ice. You could hear them skimming across the crust of the wind-swept snow out in the field at the property, and it was miserable. But this dog's like, oh, this is so much fun. Oh, I had such a great time. You're having such a great time. Not we, you. I wish her feet would start hurting after a few minutes so that she would do her business and hurry up. Gaslight says it's an Italian production. Gillo Pontecorva directed. Black and white. Eventually, the Pentagon screened it as a brainstorming method to counteract the Iraqi insurgency. That's interesting. See? History matters, folks. Even movies. Good morning, Wonder Monkey. Good morning, Ken. How are you guys? Started rewatching Turn because it came on Netflix. Did you ever watch that show, Turn? I asked Ken Gavin that. I said, have you ever watched Turn? And he just almost vomited. But clearly, he did not like it as far as accuracy goes. But I find it to be entertaining. Got a little dumb towards the end, though, like they all do. Yeah, Gaslight says, I've watched Turn. It's fun, but that's about it. Yes. Dustin says, I actually like that series. Yeah, I do too. It's good. It is a good show. Just don't actually. Ken and I. Well, see, I can't ever tell you things to look forward to anymore. I can only tell you things to look forward to when they're in the can and ready to go. I watched the first few seasons, then it jumped the shark. Yes. When I remember, I guess it was the last season, and there's some battle, I forget which battle it's supposed to be, but like, what's his face? The main kid, Woodhull, Culper, he's running through the battle like a first-person video game. And I'm like, I get they're trying to like appeal to the younger audience by adding that element, but I just thought it was just so stupid. Like, it's like, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he was in like a British uniform too. So like he had, I can't remember the story, but I'm assuming he was, doing some kind of subterfuge or sabotage there. But yeah, I didn't get far into that one. But it's what they do. It's what they do. Gaslight says, to be honest, I felt Liberty's Kids did the moral ambiguity side of the conflict better justice than Turn. I never heard of that one. Where can I find that one? Oh, It's an animated children's show. Okay. Well, I would hope they did it better justice. They're educating. Oh, that's right. Anniversary of Washington's death. Yeah, the revolution is becoming more interesting to moi. Sleepy Hollow, Patrick Gorman's in that one. General Hood. Coach Cornish says, good morning, Matt. Did you get in on the Santa crawl in town this weekend or skipped it? I saw some pics from people around town. Oh, my drinking and barring days are long behind me. There's certain things I just don't carry on into adulthood. Believe me, I like to go and have a beer. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. I'm not looking down my nose at going to bars. But my body just can't handle it. Not the way I used to drink. And if I can't drink to oblivion, then what's the point, right? I mean, am I right or am I right, folks? But I do now appreciate just the flavor of a good beer. I also appreciate the flavor of a good whiskey or vodka. I enjoy spirits, wine even. I like wine. Spanish Reds. I'm a big fan of Spanish Reds. I don't know why, but there's something they just hit different. But I enjoy them for the flavor. Anyway, and I'm not crawling, I'm not marching, I'm not walking, I'm not going out in 19-degree weather to wear a Santa hat and drink. I'm sure they have fun, but it's just not my cup of tea. Now, we'll certainly hold a Santa crawl. I guess that's what it is. See, there it is. There's the key to my insanity. I don't like group activities unless I'm leading the group. I don't participate as a member of the crowd, I think is what I don't like it. And I certainly am less and less interested in doing things like New Year's Eve on the square or anything like that. Not just because of the cold, but Jesus Christ, every time somebody gets together for something, somebody's got to go shooting. And I don't get enough joy out of those events to risk my life anymore. So, I'm becoming an old fuddy-duddy. But I think that's it. We'll do a Santa crawl. Actually, that is something that a couple of people have brought up for Digital History Pioneers one year. But I won't participate in one. Yeah, it's stupid. I'll participate in that, the one we did. You understand what I'm saying? I'm a douche. After the wreaths across America, they had someone play taps, which brought up Dan Butterfield. Now I'm reading James Poulis' biography on him. Interesting cat, that Butterfield. What we all are hearing is you like the attention on you, Matt. That is correct. That is correct. No, actually, I think what it is I don't feel that addressing Gettysburg is where, or my business, I should say, is where it should be. So if I'm going to spend my time at some kind of group thing, it has to somehow broaden the reach or scope of addressing Gettysburg. And yeah, I think that's really what it is. But also, yeah, I kind of like to be in charge. That's why I work for myself. You know? Donald says, are you doing the CWI John Brown tour on April 18th? I really want to do that. Is that the one where they're walking like all over God's green earth? Yes, it is, I think. Yes, I'm going to do that. But why does April 18th sound familiar? Might be because of that. But yes, I would like to do that. You are a leader, not a follower, is a much better way to put it. Yeah, okay, fine. I like to see something come to fruition. I like to see it go from an idea to a plan to a thing. And then I like to see that thing make people smile. That's what I get out of it. That's kind of addictive. And believe me, I'm not getting rich off of any of these things. So it's got to be for the smiles, because that's really all you get in the long run, is the smiles and the memories. And you might forget how much revenue something brings in on your deathbed, but you'll remember that event made people happy. They had a good time, and that's the memory that you're looking for. So that's what I like to do. I've always liked to see a plan come together. Even when I was a kid, we'd have like a family get together or something. I'm always grabbing my cousins and making them put on plays or some kind of shit like that. And I always enjoyed entertaining, or at least trying to. I think that's what I try to entertain. So we're on Stratton Street. Many people around here pronounce it Stratton Street. Either way is fine. By the way, I'm going to tell you right now, that's not true. And the reason I'm telling you that is because sometimes I'll do things like that and I'll leave it hang in the hopes that one day I'll hear somebody go, yeah, what's that church over on the corner of York and Stratton Street? And then I can say, that person trusts too much. You should never trust information you hear 100%. Because the person giving it to you could be wrong, or it could be a test to see how much you're willing to dig beyond listening to the show. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for little tricks like that to test your due diligence. Why? Just because it's fun. Calvin says the biggest draw to farming for me, aside from just loving it, is the being my own boss. Yeah, amen. Not everybody can do it. It's, and I get that. But if you have the opportunity, it is a lot of work. It is 24/7, right? You don't get to leave work at work. But you also get to go, well, let's see. Am I caught up on all my work for the week? Yeah, I am. Is there anything I can do to get a jump on for next week? Well, yeah, but I need this one thing before I can get that going. So, you know what? I'm leaving early today. And those are rare, but you have to do that once in a while. And if you don't, you'll die. Park Road is closed from all the snow, as we can see. Very snow laden. So we're gonna go here on Lefevre Street. That's where the schools are. Used to be park property. All this was part of the battlefield. Well, it's still part of the battlefield, but it was all part of the national park at one time. There's always something going on, regardless of what time of year it is. It's never ending. Yeah, it is. But it is, for me, satisfying right down to the soul. And, some people go, oh, you're so lucky. And then somebody might say to that person, luck? No, I worked my ass off. Yeah, you do work your ass off, but there is a good mixture of luck in there. And, because I've worked my ass off on many things before that never worked. And plenty of people do. But eventually, it does. I just knew working for other people was such a reprehensible thing for me. I couldn't do it. I had 3 months where I could fake it. And then, then it was like, all right, promote me or get me out of here. And so usually they would go with, get out. So I knew all along I had to be. I mean, even in school, like I couldn't even take orders from the teacher. Like I just had to. And I wasn't like a obstinate kid, but like there were certain things. You know what it was? The word why. Matt, I need you to do this, that, or the other. And I go, why? Not because I'm being defiant, but because the way my stupid mind works, I need to know the why of things in order to be able to do them well. But I didn't have those words as a child, right? So I would just get shit. And I would be called lazy, and I'd be called, whatever. An asshole. One of the nuns called me an asshole. But I guess back then they didn't know that, like, not everybody's the same. I guess everybody up until very recently was always a robot, but apparently, so I had to know the why of it. And then when you wouldn't tell me the why and you just wanted me to obey, quote, because I said so, then I'm like, all right, now it's on. Let's do this. We'll go. I'm not ready to end yet. So we'll go up here on Washington Street in honor of Washington's death a little bit ago. And it's also where Buford's cavalry came in. And we're going to go to Confederate Ave. We'll drive down Confederate Ave. How do you like that, folks? How do you like that? Barbara's late, but that's okay. What was I going to say? Oh, I've been finishing up the finishing touches on the membership on YouTube. I don't know how to do this stuff anymore. Some people have one price and they give you one thing. I, like a fargan idiot, have to give you like 3 different tiers, and I give you more shit with each tier. But I also I also plan on being a little more frank about things with the members there. And so that's why I think I tiered it as like the highest tier. We'll get to know all the, the stuff, the ins and outs, if you will. So that's coming up. And that'll be good. Might do, actually, I don't know how this would work. There must be some kind of indicator, but maybe I'll go in there and add to one of the levels that you don't have to do a super chat during an Ask a Guide in order to have your comment read. That should be possible. I'll have to look into that, but that's what I'll do. What property did the park gain by giving a piece to the school board? That's a good question. I don't know. Was that a swap? I know they had a swap with like the college and the railroad or something like that, and that was pretty controversial. The schools were somewhere in the mid 20th century. I don't remember the full story of that one, but I don't remember if it was a swap or if it was just a bonehead move. I can't remember. Are the streets of Gettysburg the same as it was during the battle? Yeah, for the most part. There's some that are additions. Um, by the same, I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but they're all on the same path. Well, I shouldn't say all. They're on the same path. Some are a little different. Like, for example, out here, like Franklin Street and what's after that? West. I think Franklin used to be west. So this used to be West Street because it was the westernmost street in town. But then they started adding on to the town. And this newer section here became the westernmost street. So then they changed this to West Street and that one back there to Franklin. All of these, this was all fields. There might have been a house or two along the way, but this was farmland. None of these neighborhoods were here. None of these roads were here. Springs Avenue was here. Springs Avenue is parallel to this road to my right. Here, I'll take you over. And I do believe that it's called Springs Avenue because it went to the Springs Hotel, complete with a horse-drawn trolley track up the middle of the road. These homes are post-battle. Again, this was all farmland. Here's Hay Street. And then the seminary is to the right as we go up Springs. And now, you'd have to go and look at some of the old maps, but I think it's the... is it the Warren map? One of the maps shows the path of Springs Avenue out across the like Biddle's Brigade, Iron Brigade area of the battlefield and how it went out to the Springs Hotel. I think it's a Warren map. I'm not sure, but it's pretty cool. I love learning about the roads, just in the area in general. The park especially, because the park roads changed. Going to be in Gettysburg, says Don. This is Don, by the way, saying this. Going to be in Gettysburg Friday and Saturday. Are you doing the show live at any of the bars? No. December is off. We don't do any more recordings or live streams for the month of December after the last AG Today. Oh, that's not true. Friday, I'm sorry, Gary Edelman will be here Friday on the show. We're going to do a live end of year Ask a Guide with Gary about Gettysburg myths. Patrons, I put a call out for questions if you have any on Gettysburg myths or prompts, whatever. It's kind of a vague topic to say, ask me a question about Gettysburg myth. So if you have like a thought or you want to prompt us to talk about one, we could do it. It's Gary Edelman. He could do anything. The guy's got a steel trap mind. He could talk about whatever, off the cuff. So we're going to do a live stream. I believe that's like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. So I'll let you know during the week. And that'll be fun. So that's the last thing that we're doing. But no, we're not doing any shows in bars. We had our Christmas party at the Farnsworth House on the 6th. So that's kind of like the last event that we do for the year. But we are busy little beavers behind the scenes planning events for next year. We have some pretty good ones. And yes. Faye says, I love going to Kenny's when I visit. They have great bologna. You can't get a good bologna in Florida. Now, are you talking bologna or like Lebanon bologna? Because Lebanon bologna is, I love it, but I also hate it. And here's what I love. I love the original smoked, salty version. I hate the sweet bologna. And that's something about PA Dutch cuisine that I don't understand, is the amount of sugar they put in things that shouldn't have sugar, like slaw. I had a coleslaw one time, and it was sweet, and I was like, and I don't like coleslaw to begin with, right? But somebody's like, "Oh, try it, it's homemade," and I didn't want to be rude, and it took everything I had not to spit it out. They got to put sugar in everything. But I like Lebanon bologna as long as it's, the original. The tiers allow support from people who may not have a lot and may not care about the ins and outs, but allow those with the means and the care to have access. Everyone wins. Okay. All right. So stick with the tiers then. The cheapest tier, you're going to get the driving videos, which people seem to really like. I'll still do one for everybody a week. But, I hold back a lot in my conversations in these. And I'd like to get a little more honest with the people who are actual supporters of the show. And by that, I mean, forgive me, let me use my words carefully here, the people who contribute financially, because that keeps us going, right? So obviously I'm going to weigh their opinions a little heavier, and yeah. But also we've got some things coming up that I think you'll like to just see the behind the scenes of, like as we make them, things like that. 2025 was a transitional year for the thinking around addressing Gettysburg. It was also the year that we soft launched Digital History Pioneers. That's one of the things we're working on, fixing up the website, getting the language to better reflect and more clearly reflect what we believe in and what we want to do and how we want to fix the problems we see in the history world. So 2025 was kind of that, little transitional year, mindset wise, but also setting the stage for some other things to happen. Now, this is where I usually lose people. So did I lose you? Can you still hear me? I'm looking to see if I have lost. All right. So far, nobody's answering. So it looks like I lost service. So I'm going to have to say goodbye. Yep, and I just lost. Oh, no. Okay, Faye, you can hear? I can still. Okay, good. So, yeah. So, got a lot of good things coming. One of the new members of the team, who, if you're a patron, we did the State of the Show at the end of the year, or a couple of weeks ago. I was trying to get him to come in and join us on Zoom, but he couldn't because he is selling his home and he had to wait for a guy to come by and repair something for the FHA loan inspector to be happy about, and silliness. Anyway, Derek is his name, and he is a videographer and works with a very successful YouTube channel. And for it, he created it, basically. He didn't create the channel, but he's the guy they look to make it work, and it did. He loves Gettysburg. He's been visiting here forever and a day with his family since he was a wee lad. And he loves addressing Gettysburg. And he's like, me and my wife want to move out there. They're originally from Philly. They want to be closer to home, but not too close. And they want to move here. They love it here. And he wants to help. So we've got ideas and we've got things that we're going to start to do. And hopefully addressing Gettysburg will be what closer to what I always imagined it being. And then, and then we'll be gradually expanding into addressing history via DH Pioneers funds and all that stuff. But, all in good time. You'll hear about it as we're ready to tell you about it. But the stuff we're not ready to tell you about that we're still kind of thinking about, well, you could either join Patreon at patreon.com/addressinggettysburg, or you can join here on YouTube. The beautiful part about YouTube is even though you make mills on the dollar, they don't take out fees. Patreon takes out fees. So there is that. But anyway, yes, we'll launch that. I don't know. I haven't gotten around to it yet. Greetings from San Fernando on the island of Trinidad. There's a Trinidad in the San Fernando Valley? Oh, San Fernando is the town on the island of Trinidad. Dominic, I have family lives in Trinidad and Tobago. They're technically in-laws, but I've known them my whole life. Yeah, I do. Small world, small island, but small world too. Paul says, we did our last trip for the 25. Why did I get tongue-tied there? For 2025 to Lexington Concord last Saturday. Tea burning reenactment and shopping, walk, battle road, and dinner. That sounds nice. Donald says, would addressing history be separate from... So addressing history is going to be a separate thing altogether. I'm not going to launch a Patreon for addressing history right away. Because addressing history is going to be different. It's not... All right, there will be podcasts in the traditional sense, but I need to first find larger space because they need to have a different set, a different look. Otherwise, it's going to be very confusing for people, whether it's addressing history or addressing Gettysburg. But I want it to have a different feel, different style. So I either need a larger space secondary to where I am or a larger space and move to it. And neither one of those seem to be working at the moment, but we've been looking for a while. Anyway, so that is going to be more of a full-on video production thing with a couple of different types of podcasts involved. So the first thing that we're going to do is try to fund some of our video projects. We have one big one that will take a couple years to do, maybe 3, maybe 4. But it's a very serious, large scope project that we want to do. And then there's other smaller ones that would be more edutainment type of stuff, like pilot episodes for different ideas. And like I said, we have them all written out on a list with the preliminary budgets, and people who are like serious donors, like 10 grand or more, we'll show you that list. Colby's here, everybody. You have to take a week-long vacation in 2026 to come to MIT. Yes, we are. We are going out there in 2026. And what would be wonderful, I'm not allowed, this is, I said this to Cindy when we first decided we were going there. I was like, oh yeah, and then maybe Hessler can meet us out there and we can do a little Bighorn video. And she gave me this look like you were not working while we were out there. And I still don't think people get it. I can't not work. But maybe by July, things will be different, and work will be done while I'm away without me having to do it. That would be a miracle, but we'll see. But yeah, we're coming out there. Jolina says, good morning. Also, happy holidays, Southern Illinois. Good morning. Dominic says, wow, small world must be nice, folks, your in-laws. They are very nice and a lot of fun. Taught me how to drink. Um, Rock and Roll All Stars says, question, how do we contribute through YouTube? I could look at, okay, so someday soon you will see next to the subscribe button a join button. And then when that is available, you click on the join button and it'll take you to where it needs to take you, and you pick which level you want to join at and you join. But as of now, the way to do that is through a super chat, and I've never given a super chat, so I don't know how you do that per se. I mean, it's something on the screen that you're looking at now. I just don't know what it looks like. But yeah. Let's see. Just going back here, making sure I didn't miss anybody. Kunstler minced bologna like Oscar Mayer, but much better. Okay, so it's like regular, like sandwich bologna. Must be at least statue. Bologna, Lebanon is yak. Lebanon is yak, yeah. Okay, so real bologna. Gotcha. All right, I'm just looking back here to see what I missed. Oh, you asking why? So SP says, you asking why is like von Steuben at Valley Forge. He was used to Prussian soldiers just doing what he ordered when training. Americans would only after he told them why. Yeah, I think this country was settled by people with defective brains, and we all just look at things a little differently. I think that's why we were outcast from our mother countries. And not treated well over there, is because we just were annoying to deal with. So we always asked why. Yeah, but there needs to be meaning for an American, a true American. So yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think of it that way. But if they could do it, I can do it. Chris, why is it called Confederate Ave? Because it's the Confederate line on the battlefield. Merry Christmas, says Faye. Brian says, hell yeah, man. Thank you for sharing this. I have no Gettysburg friends in Pittsburgh, PA. You keep me connected. Great, thank you. Glad we could do that. Matt Gillespie says, super chat, just smash the $ in the bottom right. There you go. It walks you through from there. And Wood says, Merry Christmas, Matt. Thank you, Wood. And ladies and gentlemen, I know a few of our viewers love to see the view here of the Jeb Stuart Monument. Who was it that dubbed it that? It certainly wasn't me. I wouldn't be so rude. But somebody in the audience did, and it makes me laugh. And there you go. So I'm going to go into Bantam Roasters, get some coffee. Speaking of digital history pioneers, I have a meeting with a production company at 2 o'clock. So hopefully we can work out something there, and that will make donations a little more forthcoming. Otherwise, you guys have a great day. Talk to you again soon. I'll do more of these until for the rest of the year. Even when I start the membership, I'll do more of these for everybody, just to promote the membership. Okay. All right, it was 60 seconds. Asking why in the military they say jump, but if you tell me whether it's a high jump or a long jump, you'll get better results. Exactly. Yeah, I'm like, I guess what it was I didn't have the words then either, but if you had asked me instead of just barked at me, right, I would have told you that I'm a team player and I want to make sure that my contribution to the team is the best that it can be. So it helps me to know why you want me to do this thing and why you want me to do this thing in this very particular way, which takes 7 steps, but my way gets the same result and takes 4. So why do I have to do your way? That was the other problem I had when I went to the corporate world. I just am not, I can't surrender my mind to somebody who's a dope. That's what it is. I just never had respect for the people who were in charge of me. All right, guys, you have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.